Well, today I'm in uncharted territory, baking. Never baked before in my life, so I'm just as curious as you are as to how this is going to turn out. Before we get going, if you could subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, that'd be awesome. Today we're making biscuits and sausage gravy, a southern breakfast staple. First we start off with 2.5 cups of flour, followed up by 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Next we put in a teaspoon of sugar, followed up by 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Next is a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, as well as 2 tablespoons of shortening. Now we mix it all up in a food processor. What I forgot to show here is right here we need to add 8 tablespoons of butter with that shredding attachment blade. Now transfer the contents from the food processor into a large mixing bowl. Here is where we add the last ingredient to the batter, 1.5 cups of cold buttermilk, shaken. Now we mix it all together with a rubber spatula, making sure to get it thoroughly mixed and scraping everything off the sides. You're going to want to lightly flour your work surface and then empty out the batter. At this point the batter is pretty sticky, so flour is your friend here. Now you're going to want to pat down the dough. Do not use a rolling pin. I misread the instructions and patted it down to 1/4 of an inch when the recipe called for it to be patted down to 3/4 of an inch. But as you'll see later on, it worked out anyway. Coat your baking sheet with some non-stick spray. The recipe called for a 2-inch cutter, and fortunately, the cap to the non-stick spray was exactly 2 inches. But next time, I think I'm going to use something bigger because this also added to my biscuits being smaller than they should have been. Now we're going to transfer the biscuits to the cookie sheet, keeping them as close together as possible. And what's left over of the dough after you punch them out, you just roll it up and punch out more if you got room. Place them in the refrigerator to chill for 15 minutes, and now we'll start on the gravy. First things first, brown 1 pound of ground sausage. Here's a quick rundown of the ingredients you're going to need for the gravy. Melt 4 tablespoons of butter over medium heat. Then whisk in 4 tablespoons of flour. Whisk it until it forms a paste. Now find yourself a cute assistant that'll help you pour in the 2.5 cups of milk slowly while you whisk it into the mixture. At this point, add 1 teaspoon of black pepper, as well as 1 teaspoon of salt. Now whisk it all together thoroughly. Lastly, we add the browned ground sausage. After it's thoroughly mixed together, we're going to simmer it under low heat while we bake the biscuits. Now we're going to take the biscuits out of the refrigerator and we're going to put them in a preheated oven at 450 degrees for 15 minutes. They are smaller than I anticipated, but they look good. Cover the biscuits in the gravy and serve. They were very good. I am definitely a member of the Clean Plate Club. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel. Thank you for watching, and if you decide to make the recipe, please let me know in the comments how it turned out.